Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the thousands in attendance and the millions listening across the globe, you are listening to The Big D Show, brought to you from Dom's Diner inside the Negdog Radio Network.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining me here. It is Wednesday, January the 27th, officially 6:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are listening to the Big D Show live here on the Negdog Radio Network. I want to thank everyone out there for joining me. Tonight's show, as always, is brought to you by Negdog.com. Be sure to use the promo code Negdog at all of our sponsors and affiliates, and to receive an exclusive bonus from your boy Big D at the Big D Show. So, once again, thanks everyone for joining us. Our FanDuel question of the day: can the Mavs take down the Warriors in tonight's late night NBA action? Give a call into the studio line to weigh in your opinion, 657-383-1868. It is the Cleveland Sports Special. Going to have my boy Vic Yak in the studio here momentarily. And we're going to be talking the land. If you want to weigh in your opinion, you're an Ohio sports fan, be sure to call in 657-383-1868. But first, today's moment in sports history brought to you by Infidel Body Armor. Like I said, with all of our sponsors and affiliates at Negdog.com. Be sure to use the promo code Negdog. And on this date, January the 27th in 1894, the first United States college basketball game was played between the University of Chicago and the Chicago YMCA, of course, the Young Men's Christian Academy. Many people not even aware of that. Anyways, U of C defeats Chicago Y 19-11, paving the way for the March Madness that we all know and love. And I've got Vic Yak in the studio here, folks. Say what's up out there, Victor. Tell the fans hey.
How's it going, fans?
And I want to thank you for joining me on this special edition, of course, the Cleveland Rock Special. Going to be a big day of action here on the Big D Show. What do you think about that today in sports history, Vic? I mean, pretty, groundbreaking, influential stuff, especially with how big March Madness is in today's economy.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly didn't know about that. That's a fact I was not aware of.
Yeah, and that's what we do here on the Big D Show, folks. We help spread knowledge and, give you a little bit of entertainment at the same time. So I want to thank you all again for joining me. You can be like my dog, Vic Yak, and be live on the air. You just got to call in 657-383-1868. And 6 ranked teams are in action tonight in a big night for college basketball. Of course, some ranked teams in action. Number 5, Texas A&M. Number 16, Louisville. Number 17, Baylor. And number 20, Kentucky. And 21, Purdue. All playing relatively easy conference games for them. But nothing has been easy so far in this college hoops season. What do you think about some of the recent upsets we've seen, Victor?
Honestly, I haven't been keeping up too much with college basketball, to be honest.
Well, the Big 12 has taken themselves down one after another as they've gotten up into the top 5, and they just seem to be beating each other up one after the other. The Big Ten has the same scenario going on with them. And speaking of college basketball knowledge, you hit that one last night. You called it live on yesterday's show, Xavier over Providence, and what was a great game. Did you get a chance to see any of that one?
I did not see too much of it, but I was able to check the highlights afterwards.
Yeah, James Farr was a big
like
performance
Xavier's really
in
the
that
team
one.
to beat this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, Xavier's just a good squad, real balanced, and they got an all-star in James Farr. Last college hoops update for tonight. This is one of my locks for the day. Bovada plays of the day. Be sure to use the promo code Negdog at Bovada. I like Wichita State, number 22 in the country, led by Ron Barker and point guard Fred Van Vliet. I think they're going to crush lowly Loyola of Illinois, who has been a perennial bottom dweller in that conference. So look for Wichita State to take that one home in our first lock of the day. And, of course, I have Vic Yak on the show, our Cleveland Sports Insider. We're going to move right into our Cleveland Sports State of the Union. Vic, give them a little bit of background on yourself and, some of the work that you do. I know you have a novel or a series that you do, right? Correct? Promote that a little bit and tell the fans a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I did spend about half my life in Florida, but I was from Ohio, around the Cleveland area. I live in a place called Youngstown, and always been a diehard Cleveland sports fan since day one that I cared about sports. And my novel is called Drifting Bosa. It's basically about a kid that decides instead of going to college or joining the military, most of the options people pick, he decides to start selling drugs, and he gets into that criminal mindset, and he sees like throughout the process that it's taken a toll on his mental state. He starts to kind of lose his grip with sanity, and the whole book is basically him just trying to come back to a happy medium while at the same time trying to become a kingpin criminal.
And it's gripping stuff, ladies and gentlemen. When I tell you I've only gotten to dabble in parts of it, I'm a busy man, of course, but when I've gotten into it, and it's a good read. Stop scrolling through Facebook like a troll when you're using the bathroom. Maybe use your time to read something, a little bit more, provoking to your mental state and your ability to process things. And this is definitely something that caught my attention real quick when I started to read it. Vic, kind of tell us where we can find that.
It's on a direct link. It's called www.driftingbosa.tumblr.com. You don't need to have a Tumblr to read it. You can just go right to it. And I would suggest hitting the archive button because the chapters are written in there backwards. The last chapter I wrote is going to be at the top, whereas the first will be at the bottom.
All right, and be sure to check out the Drifting Bosa novel, real good stuff. And readers are leaders, as we say here on the Negdog Radio Network. So, like we've said, Victor, real knowledgeable guy as far as I'm concerned. We go back to damn near fourth grade, right?
Absolutely, yep. Back in
Balkan
class.
And that's going back a long time now, folks. We're getting old here on the Big D show, I'm starting to get into my latter half here of my days, but I'm still young and still kicking, and we're going to give you all the info you need here about the Cavs. And the first thing I want to start with here, Victor, is why did Doug Black get fired exactly? This is something that's been puzzling a lot of, normal viewers, I'm sure of, especially with the Cavs sitting in first place in the Eastern Conference.
Well, as much as they try to defer from what's probably really going on, I think it had a lot to do with their big man LeBron James and the GM and Griffin. But I think the main thing of it was that loss to Golden State showed us where we were really at. We need to be at the level with them, and it seemed like the people that Blatt put into effect in the system that he didn't want to go anywhere really need to be the pieces that we move. So we just thought Lou would probably be a better fit because he's just about the motivation of the team. He doesn't have any attachment to any of the players because David Blatt brought on people like Dellavedova and Mozgov, and those are guys that were his guys. And I think we're going to probably look to trade them off when the deadline comes around to get probably some better fits that are going to be more physical with teams like Golden State, Chicago, San Antonio, because we need to win those games. We are a great team, but we're not going to get to where we want to be without moving the correct pieces and winning the correct games.
Okay, so before I want to ask you what you think some of the possible moves they might make are here a little bit later. But before we get there, I kind of want to ask, you said in your statement that Golden State, the loss to them, it kind of needs to show you where you're at and is anybody really at the same level as Golden State right now? I mean, they're chasing history. We saw just 2 nights ago, they thrashed the Spurs, who are just 3 games behind them in the standings. So, do you think it might have been a little bit of a jump decision by the Cavaliers, or do you think this is something that they were planning well beforehand?
Honestly, it's hard to tell. I think if they were going to fire him on the spot like that, it probably was discussed for a long period of time. But in my opinion, I think that they should have at least let him finish the season. But they want to win right now. I don't think that it's going to be a good short-term decision, but I think this team's eventually going to come together towards the end. We may fall to 2nd, 3rd, or 4th seed due to this coaching move. But I think by the time the playoffs roll around, we'll probably be where we want to be. And in regards to Golden State, no. Golden State is in a whole other league right now. No one is even touching them. And the few games they lost were probably because of an injury that they had for that game or just a couple setback games because, it's a long season. You're not going to win every single game. But they're on the same path as the Chicago Bulls, and I believe it was 92. Am I right about that? 92, right? 92, 93?
I believe so. I'll have to check the facts on that. We'll be sure to have that for you after the halftime break. We always have some errors and omissions here on the Big D Show. It's live radio, folks. It's unscripted. This is what we do. So getting back to Coach Lue, I know you touched on him briefly. He got on a lot of his players for being out of shape to run the style that he wants. Of course, many people would think that he would go to that Phil Jackson style offense that he ran with the Lakers when he won his championship. But I haven't seen much triangle out there. It looks more like they're playing pretty much run and gun style like he did back when he was backcourt mates with Tracy McGrady in Orlando. Do you think the Cavs are going to be able to get in sync with this new offense and be in the shape that Coach Lue wants them in to have success like they did in the first half? It looked like it looked real good the other night. But understandable in game 1 with a new system.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. That was probably a bad start to go up against a team like Chicago. Was a team that's about at our level, if not at our level. And with a brand new coach, there wasn't really much of a chance for us to come out with a win there. But I think he's trying to revolve around speed because that's really our advantage over other teams. We're great on the fast break because we have players like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love. And I think also we're going to have to work on getting our players healthy, just like he said. Kyrie Irving's still coming off that injury. I don't think he's completely recovered. And I know they waited long enough to get him in there, waited more than long enough. But, he's still trying to get back in the sync of things. And LeBron obviously has to be the focal point. And I think these talks about Kevin Love being traded need to stop. They need to address that it is not a thing and that it just needs to stop being talked about. Because I don't care what anyone says. It probably does have a weighing effect on the man.
Yeah, if you're worried about getting traded, you got to worry about your performance every night. Am I going to get put on a terrible team? It can definitely play with a guy's psyche, especially when he's not the star that they're running the ball through anymore. Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, he's still just, we kind of placed him on a pedestal a little bit too early. He's still a young guy, so I think moving forward he'll be all right when he gets back in his rhythm. My question for you, a lot of people have put Steph Curry on a pedestal. Is LeBron James is he still the best player in the league? In my opinion,
no.
The most that he does as far as stuffing the stat sheet, I don't see anybody else doing the things he does as far as triple-double status. But what do you think about that? Who's the best player in the league? I heard you say no there briefly.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. At this moment in time, and the last 2 years, Steph Curry is the best player in the NBA. When his career is all said and done, it's tough to say if he'll end up being better than LeBron because, it's only been a couple-year stretch. So, he may not be able to keep this going for 15-plus years like LeBron's probably going to do. So, I don't know. Right now, for a fact, though, he is better.
And weigh in. You can call in to weigh on this subject, ladies and gentlemen. Is LeBron James still the best player in the league? Who do you think the best player in the league? Of course, our FanDuel question of the night. Can anybody take down Steph Curry and the Warriors? The Mavs got their chance tonight. Will they be able to take down Goliath? Yet to be seen. Call in and weigh in, 657-383-1868. Last thing on the Cavs here before we move on to those Cleveland Browns. And what's up with the Cleveland coaching changes? I mean, geez, it's a revolving door with both of these teams. But anyways, what moves do you see the Cavs making as far as possible, trade bait? I mean, Kevin Love's been thrown out there for a year and a half now. I think if he doesn't find some success soon, I think, honestly, they may need to deal him just because, in my opinion, he's not an off-ball player. I think he's got to be a number 1 or 2 option. And he looked like Chris Bosh basically in the Miami role, but not as comfortable with it because he's not as good. Who do you think they may go after? My personal opinion, I think they need another big off the bench. What are some of your targets you're looking at?
I know the main one they've been looking at throughout the year has been Markieff Morris. That's been the main one. I assume he's probably going to replace Timothy Mozgov. And we may have to get him in a package deal along with Dellavedova in that deal, probably with the pick as well. I think we only need to make 1 or 2 moves, to be honest. I just think we have some pieces that don't really fit in. We're an up-tempo team, and I think people like Dellavedova, Mozgov, a couple of the other players on the bench just don't fit in with the system that we're trying to run with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving and LeBron James. The only person that I think there's 2 people that really fit in the system at this point that I think we should not get rid of at all, and that's Iman Shumpert and J.R. Smith. Anybody else is replaceable.
Yeah, the Cavs do have a lot of pieces that could be rotated as far as their bench. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and, of course, we will keep you updated here on the Big D Show. Moving on to those Cleveland Browns, if you want to call in and touch on this subject, 657-383-1868 here coming into the halftime break. Hugh Jackson, the new head coach of the Browns, what do you think about him? I know he's the offensive coordinator from the Bengals, moving within the division. Do you think that's a good hire for the Browns? What are the plans kind of moving forward with him?
I think he's going to come in with a vengeance. It might take a couple seasons for us to be a playoff team, but I like the staff he's putting together. I like all the moves that Haslam made in order to get him there. I'm interested to see what we do in the draft as well. I see a different name from the quarterback list every week. This week it's been Carson Wentz. I'm really optimistic about the staff that he's putting together.
So that's one thing I wanted to ask you about is the draft coming up. Of course, the Browns known for having the most starting quarterbacks over the past few years. Everyone's seen the picture of the lady with the jersey with 17 names taped on it. And if you haven't, be sure to check that one out online. It's hilarious. But is quarterback the option again here in the first round? Do you think he may go out and try and get a more of a veteran guy, or does he go with a Jared Goff or, like you said, Division II, or actually 1AA, even though he's a 4-time national champion in 1AA, Carson Wentz? Do you think that's the way they go? I mean, I would be shocked if they took a 1AA quarterback at number 2 overall.
I honestly don't know about that decision. I feel like that'd be another page in the history of our regrets in the first round. So I don't know about that. I have watched some highlights of Jared Goff. Didn't get to see Callie too many times this season, but I like that pick more of anyone else I've looked at. But, I mean, we could always go with someone in the second or third round. There's the Cardell Jones. There's multiple people. There's Boykin. Even though he's been having some trouble legally, he will be in the draft. So, I mean, we could always go with someone later on and try to get a free agent like Sam Bradford. I know the Eagles will probably try and dish him out, and we definitely wanted him last year. So I could see that happening. I could see us sticking with McCown. It all just depends on what Hugh Jackson wants to run with the system.
I mean, as a Browns fan, I know personally I would be upset if they stuck with McCown. I mean, that's just me personally. I think you have to take a top-flight quarterback if you don't get a big-name free agent. I mean, you could always trade down even in the draft to try and, finagle a better opportunity for yourself, maybe trading that number 2 pick for 2 first-rounders, maybe in the middle somewhere. So interesting to see how that plays out. How do you think the Browns end up next year, real quick? What's their record?
Kind of hard to tell right now because I don't know how the roster is going to map out, but I think we probably will have a lot of players that we'll need to develop. So I'd like to say probably 4-12 to 6-10.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. 4-12 to 6-10. That's Vic Yak's range. So if you want to call in and you think the Browns are going to the Super Bowl next year, 657-383-1868. Of course, our DraftKings lineup of the day before we give you a little grime action. I've actually got one guy that Vic Yak doesn't like too much on the Cavaliers. I'm taking point guard Matthew Dellavedova. Gives you great value at point guard for the DraftKings lineup. One of my sleepers for today, Archie Goodwin, shooting guard for Phoenix in that same game against the Cavs. Of course, at small forward, I'm taking the King, LeBron James. Power forward, Derek Favors in a favorable matchup against Charlotte. At center, I've got the guy who was able to pretty much single-handedly take down the Warriors, Andre Drummond, just a beast inside, and without Jahlil Okafor in there for the 76ers tonight, he should have a feast on the boards. At guard, I like Reggie Jackson in that same game, the 1-2 combo for Detroit. And at forward, I've also taken another Piston, Ersan Ilyasova, has a favorable matchup again against the depleted Philadelphia front line, and the guy can flat out shoot. From that same game, at my last utility spot, I got Sauce Castillo, Nick Stauskas as my sleeper play of the day. The guy's been filling it up over his past few games with more playing time. Look for the former Wolverine to make some noise in Detroit tonight. So that is my DraftKings lineup of the day. We're going to take a quick musical break here for the godfather of grime. This is Wiley with Eskimo.
Yeah, shower Esky. Most of them wait for the drop. Not me, I'm in straight from the top. Wiley the shower Esky, them names are gonna ring the bells on the off. I don't need syrup, I ain't got a cough. When the box got 8 in the loft, I should be on the TV much more. I know got a face, what's what? It's a must to elevate and take that shot. If I score, then I'm gonna be at the top spot. My flow, top notch. My lyrics, top notch. Mine to me and I ain't gotta watch. And I don't pay no one, I ain't gotta watch. Watch what? Test who? I ain't part of a bulletproof vest crew, cause I walk with God. Die when my time's up. Single file everybody, line up. Turn a new page, get righteous. I'm giving out zip files like a virus. I wanna thank them bands that knew I had very good plans. Had tons of music, album ready, but the label they didn't understand. I'm on another label, gave me control. I play it like a game in a console. I'm talented, how could you not know? I got a super kryptonite flow. But back to the bars that I wanna hear playing in the back of the car. We already know that's not for the chart. But it's what I done back at the start and I still feel smart. It's Wiley, shower Esky, and none of them boy can't test me. It's Wiley, nobody left me, cause I'm up with the best, yeah, I told them. It's Wiley, shower Esky, and none of them boy can't test me. It's Wiley, nobody left me, cause I'm up with the best, yeah, I told them. You got a problem, view your opinions, might be a hater, check all the symptoms. If I'm getting bigger in the game, then man I slacking, why the hell should I bring them? It's my kingdom, what are you thinking? Link a lot of girls, so that's what I'm thinking. Run up on the stage, drop one hook, where's my brother, get a reload, that's what I'm thinking. I'm the in thing, ask anyone.
And welcome back to the Big D Show. We're going into a fourth quarter here. This was the Cleveland Sports and still is the Cleveland Sports State of the Union. Got some riveting stuff from my dog, Vic Yak, who is in the studio with us today. Victor, say what's up to him.
How you doing, fans?
And they love you. Thanks for joining us on today's show. Be sure to give a call in to the studio lines. They are wide open to touch on tonight's predictions, or if you want to give a call about the Cleveland Sports, 657-383-1868. One more time, our DraftKings lineup of the day. Point guard Matthew Dellavedova, Archie Goodwin, LeBron James, Derek Favors, Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson, Ersan Ilyasova, and Nick Stauskas. So be sure to use the promo code Negdog at both FanDuel and DraftKings to receive an exclusive bonus from the Big D Show and the Negdog Radio Network. And you can start winning with us today. This show is dedicated to intern Sean and his hard work over the past couple of weeks. I want to thank him. It is his birthday today, so be sure to get at Sean the Intern on Twitter, at Sean Garcia, SEAN Garcia, GARCIA 51, and wish him a happy birthday. He has the night off. So once again, I want to thank you all for joining me. We had some great topics there in that first half. Vic Yak just absolutely killed it with the Cleveland sports knowledge. I mean, nobody else I know can even touch on Cleveland sports, let alone break down the rosters and the moves moving forward. The guy is dedicated, I'll tell you what. How cold is it up there, buddy?
I think today it was about 20 degrees.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be sure to, even though it was a rainy day here in Tampa, it was still around 70 degrees, and I'll keep my warmth, man. I don't know how you guys do it up there. But
yeah,
anyway,
a little bit.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, dude. I don't know. I just can't deal with the cold, man.
I know the feeling.
So going into the Aussie Open, of course, some tennis action here, the semifinals tonight. Got number 3, Roger Federer, taking on number 1, Novak Djokovic. It's going to be 3:30 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States. So going to be some late night action if you stay up for this one. But I like Djokovic. I think he's too dominant on the hard court to take down the older Federer. And the hard court plays the ball just too fast with a great forehand from Djokovic. I like him in this matchup to move on to the finals. Who do you like, Victor?
I got to go with my man Djokovic. I like him a lot.
And these are our Bovada plays of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, be sure to use the promo code Negdog when you sign up. And we both got the Joker. And the other matchup for tonight, women's tennis, number 1 Serena versus number 4 Agnieszka Radwanska, one of the best-looking tennis players on the tour, folks. And she's got a twin sister. My favorite set of twins in the tennis world, but I don't see Agnieszka beating Serena in this one. Serena's forehand has just been ridiculous all tournament. She's too good, and I honestly would be interested in seeing her play some of the lower-ranked men. Who do you like in this one, Vic?
Yeah, I'm going to have to absolutely agree with that, but that's another topic for another day. I think she's the greatest women's tennis player to ever live, to be honest. I don't think she loses today either.
I think Martina Navratilova might have something to say about that, but I can't blame you for saying it. She is just so dominant every week. Probably takes this one again. Like I said, it's going to take a great performance by Radwanska. Moving into tonight's NBA hoops action, my lock of the day, I'm taking the Cleveland Cavaliers that we broke down over the Phoenix Suns tonight. Phoenix has just been in disarray since losing Eric Bledsoe, even though Archie Goodwin, one of our sleepers of the day for our DraftKings lineup, has come and emerged in the absence. I think the Cavs and King James are too much in this one. My Cleveland sports insider, who do you got?
I got to go with the Cavs. That's going to be an easy game for us.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how the offense looks with a couple of days of practice since their last game. So moving on to the other matchups, the Spurs and the Rockets. I like the Spurs in this one. I think they rebound from that tough loss versus the Warriors. I think in order to lose, they're going to have to be the victim of a massive game by James Harden. I don't see Pop letting the Spurs lose 2 primetime games in a row, and I'm taking the Spurs in this one. Who do you like?
Honestly, if you asked me this question last year, I would have said the Rockets may have had the edge, but honestly, San Antonio is in another world. Not as much as Golden State is, but they're definitely unexpectedly the second best team in the NBA, and I think they'll come off that loss strong, and they'll be strong for the rest of the season up until their next matchup with Golden State.
Yeah, and I think that ends up being the Western Final. Speaking of Golden State, I like them over Dallas tonight. Like I said, not betting against them till the playoffs. Clearly the superior team as Dallas struggled to beat a lowly Lakers team last night. I don't see them taking down Goliath. Who do you like?
Yeah, no chance Dallas takes this one. Golden State's just going to keep it rolling.
All right, and those are our Bovada plays of the day. Thank you all for listening. To our live listeners out there, be sure to check us out tomorrow at 6:30. And we are in overtime now here, brought to you by Negdog.com. Thanks to all of you for listening today. Our Bovada plays of the day, once again, Djokovic over Federer, Serena over Radwanska, I like the Cavs over Phoenix, my lock of the day, the Spurs over the Rockets, and I like Golden State over Dallas. So we're giving you options tonight, folks. I want to thank everyone for listening in yet again on this Cleveland Rock special. Of course, our UK exclusive music gave you Wiley. Be sure to follow him at Wiley, and you will find him on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere you go, the Godfather of Grime. Vic Yak, before we go, man, any shout-outs you want to give? Thank you for joining me on today's show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to give a shout-out to my boys Vince Village and Ted Sacco. They're going to be the co-writers on the next 12 chapters of my Drifting Bosa novel. Again, it's called www.driftingbosa.tumblr.com. Check it out if you got the time. You won't regret it, I promise. It's a very revolting story. All right. And shout out to you, D-Neg. Have a good night.
Hey, shout out to you, Vic Yak. Be sure to follow him on Twitter at Vic, V-I-C, Yak, Y-A-K. Is that correct?
Yep.
Yep, be sure to follow him on Twitter. Like I said, go check out his book, his novel on Tumblr, Drifting Bosa. It's riveting stuff. It is Big D and Negdog Radio Network approved, folks. Man, thanks again for joining me on today's show. Great knowledge there of those Cleveland teams, man. Couldn't have done it without you, so I appreciate you coming on. Thanks, everyone out there, for listening in overtime. Of course, be sure to check us out on tomorrow's show, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to give you some music to close it out here. This is my boy Chip over from the UK. Vic, what'd you think about that first UK track from Wiley?
It's fire. I like all the music you put on here.
I appreciate it, man, and we're going to keep giving you all the stuff that you don't hear on mainstream. Of course, the first one was Wiley with that Eskimo rhythm, the Godfather of Grime. This is one of his disciples. This is Chip, a.k.a. Chipmunk, at Chipmunk on Twitter, with Buki. Be sure to join us tomorrow on the Negdog Radio Network. We're out.
Everything bookie, right now everything bookie. Y'all I thought my man love man side man he didn't prove. See money come, see money go, watch money come, money move. Right now I'm out of order, trust me man can't use me. Right now everything bookie, right now everything bookie. Can't trust no one. Man I thought my girl love man side girl she didn't prove. Gone with the next man. See money come, see money go, watch money come, money move. But right now everything's bulky. Yeah. If man call me bro, that means family ties. Better treat me like fam. That means it's heart to heart when we don't see eye to eye. You understand? But man switch it up over years, man switch it up overnight. I want to my man. Free side man moving sideways now, gotta switch my lines. Clean mind frame, straight high grade, no more green or purple. Louder. Looking around like who can I trust? Will make man half their circle. Yeah. But the Lord got me, amen. And I got myself. And if nobody don't like me, fuck it, I rap myself. Trust me, trust me. Right now everything bookie, right now everything bookie. Lord, I thought my man love man side man, he didn't prove it. See money come, see money go, watch money come, money move. Right now I'm out of order, trust me man can't use me. Right now everything bookie, right now everything bookie. Can't trust no one. Man I thought my girl love man side girl she didn't prove. Gone with the next man. See money come, see money go, watch money come, money move. But right now everything's bookie. Yeah. Chipmunk dumps on rap, chipmunk dumps on gram. Facts. Hey, blood go ask my ex, don't pet when it's dumping time. Never. Stressed out, need a masseuse like, why they tryna play with my mind? See the mind games, nobody wins. Ay, do your thing, I do mine. Gone again. Team mind frame just high grade and cut down on liquor. Ooh. Them movements run sober, man can't be my nigga. Ooh. It's like being good don't work either. You seen how Jesus died. I told Dad when he goes church, pray for me in these bookie times, yeah. Trust me, trust me. Right now everything bookie, right now everything bookie. Blood I thought my man, love man, side man, he didn't prove it. See money come, see money go, watch money come, money move. Right now I'm out of order, trust me man can't use me. Right now everything bookie, right now everything bookie. Can't trust no one. Man I thought my girl love man, side girl she didn't approve. Gone with the next man. See money come, see money go, watch money come, money move. But right now everything's bookie.
Relaxing with friends isn't just reserved for the weekend. Those few sweet hours where day flips to night are the perfect time to grab some appetizers and toss back a few drinks. It's happy hour, and you belong at Bar Louie. Take martini and draft specials from the world's best bartenders, apps from our Scratch Kitchen, and mix them up with an unparalleled experience, and you'll be a happy hour regular in no time. Happy hour may be 3 hours, but it only happens once a day. Don't waste it doing something ordinary. Own it at Bar Louie. Bar Louie. Regulars want it.